Hello, my name is Eric Starling, and I'm a graduate of MSJC. I have an AA in music, and it is my pleasure to help you with music theory. I was also an SI leader, supplemental instruction leader for music theory level 1 and 2 for 3 years. So I have an idea of what you're all up against and how challenging theory can be. So hopefully I can help you navigate your way through some of these problems. And it is my pleasure to be working with you. And I'm grateful for Miss San asking me to do this. So let's move forward. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so here we are. We're in chapter 8. We're going to do 8-1. A numbers 2 and 3. So hopefully you have your pencil, because we use pencils in music theory. We don't use pens, right? Okay, and some staff paper handy is always good to have. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to look at here is our key signature, because we need to figure out what key this song is in before we can correctly analyze it, right? So we have a hint. Now there are 2 sharps in the key signature, so that could mean one of 2 things. It could be in either the key of D major or B minor. If you need to, you can use one of these circle of fifths progression kind of handouts. I got this one off of Wikipedia. There's also one in your book, your textbook, on page 12. At least in my textbook, it's on page 12. Mine's a little older version, but you can see here that 2 sharps is either the key of D major or B minor. So how do we decide? Well, we can look at the first chord and see if that helps us. And we can also look at the last chord, in particular the cadence. Cadences don't lie. Sometimes key signatures can be a little misleading, but cadences will always tell you what key you're in. So let's start with the first chord. Now, if we take the notes from soprano down, we have an A, E in the tenor, E in the alto, an A doubled in the tenor, and then our C sharp is in the bass. So if we try and figure out, if you don't know what that chord is already, you can take the notes here on your staff paper and write them out. So if we start with an A, and then here we have an E, and down here in the bass we have a C sharp. So I'll just put that in the treble clef. Okay. So we see that it's not stacked in thirds like your snowman, right? So what we want to do is to stack that in thirds to figure out what the root of this triad is. Now, so if we have an A, C sharp, and E, we can either move the A down here on that ledger line, and we have the triad stacked in thirds. A, C sharp, E, So what is A, C sharp, and E? That is an A major triad. Okay? Perhaps it's easier to see this way. A, C sharp, and E. Good. So, since this triad has a C sharp in the bass, it's not root position, right? So, let's see. If we put the C sharp here. Well, actually, let's just stack it up from here. Okay. Sorry about that. So here we have the root position. I'll just put an R by that. Now, if we stack it up a little differently, we have the C sharp, the E, and now we put the A on the top. So that would be first inversion. And I think that's what we have here. So this chord, let's just do our lead sheet up top. It helps. So we have an A major triad with a C sharp in the bass. Okay, so this chord is not really helping us. It's not a one chord, right? But let's see if we can figure out something more from the end of the progression. Now, because the key of A has 3 sharps, so it can't be a one chord. So if we go to our last chord here, we have, let's start from the bass this time, a D, A, D doubled, and the F sharp. Okay, so we have a D, A, and the F sharp. Go over here, D, A, and we put the F sharp right in the middle there. We have a D major in root position. So let's put our D, our lead sheet symbol there. Now, that pretty much clinches it there. It ends on a D major chord. So most likely we are in the key of D. Another way to test this theory is if it's in a minor key, a lot of the time you're going to find a raised 7th scale degree. The leading tone is raised. So in B minor, we'll do our key signature here, and we'll just write out the scale. So we got B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. So this is our B minor natural minor scale. It's exactly the same key signature as the D major scale, but it starts on a different tonic. Instead of starting on D, we start on the B, a minor 3rd down, or a major 6th up. So what I was telling you about the leading tone, is raised in harmonic minor. So in this instance, we would have to raise the 7th scale degree a half step. So we have A sharp there. Right? It's only a half step from B. This is your leading tone. Now, in the natural minor, you have the A, natural. So, that is the subtonic. And sometimes that comes into play too, which you'll see in our next piece here, in number 3. And also we have the leading tone in number 3, so there's a hint. Okay, so let's just look, scan our music, and see if we can find any A sharps anywhere. Yeah, I see a lot of A naturals, no A sharps. So I'm going to say our key is D major. Now this is going to help us with the rest of our analysis, because you can get the key wrong and analyze the whole thing wrong. And that's no fun, especially on an exam. So you really want to be really careful. So let's go ahead and mark this down here. There's our, oops, that's not a Roman numeral. Okay. So we'll put our Roman numeral, the uppercase 1. Okay. Now, back to this chord, the A over C sharp. So in the key of D, sometimes it's handy to write out your diatonic triads in that key before you even get started. It may seem like it takes a long time, but it doesn't, and it really is helpful in the long run. So let's just do that real quick. There's our G, A, B, C sharp, and then our octave. Okay, so now we just stack it in thirds to build our triads. So here's the D major scale. Let's just build our snowmen here, right? You stack up your thirds. So we have D major. Let's put our lead sheet, and that's a 1. And let's keep stacking our thirds. Let's just do all these triads first, and we'll come back and do our lead sheet in Roman numerals. And there we go. So, in D major, we have the D, that's our 1 chord, our 2 chord, E, G, B. Hopefully you know that the 2 chord is minor in a major key. So we put the minor, the lowercase Roman numeral. Now, our 3 chord, we have an F sharp, A, and a C sharp. And the 3 chord is also minor. Okay, now G, B, D. That's a good old G major chord. That's our major 4. Okay. Now our 5 chord, A, C sharp, E. It's a major triad, and it is our 5. That's our dominant position there. Now, our next chord, B, D, F sharp. That would be a B minor chord. The 6th chord is minor in a major key. Now, we have a C sharp, E, and a G. That is our 7th position, C sharp, E, G. So that would be a C sharp, diminished triad. So we put the lowercase 7 with the circle for diminished. And then we're back home to 1. That's our D major. So here is our harmonized major scale in the key of D. So coming back here now, we look and we have A over C sharp. So our A is a 5 chord. So we'll put 5. And it is in first inversion. So we have to put our inversion symbol. And hopefully you know that that is a 6. Okay. So there's our first chord. And our next, we'll just move on. I won't stack all of the chords. I just wanted to give you guys an idea. Okay. So you all know. I'm not sure what level you're all at, but this is good review for anyone. And if you're just starting out and kind of having trouble, I hope this helps you. It really helped me. So moving on, D, A, D doubled, and F sharp in soprano. D, F sharp, A. Hopefully you know that that is your 1 chord. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next blank here. We have an F sharp in the bass. A, D, A. Okay. So, what do you think that one is? If we take a D and kind of move it there for a sec, D, F sharp, A. So that is a D with an F sharp in the bass. And that means there's a 1 chord in first inversion. Okay. Now here we go. G, D, G, B. G, B, D. Okay, that is a root position 4 chord. A major chord. And moving on, we have the A, the G, the C sharp, and E. Okay, so we know that the A, the C sharp, and the E equals an A major triad, which is a 5 chord. Okay, so we have an A, there's your 5 chord. But what about this G? Okay, if we stack it up here, A, C sharp, E, G, 7th chords, we create a super snowman. Okay? It's a little bigger than the regular snowman. And that would give us, the G is a minor 7th away from the root of the chord, from the A. And we have a major triad with a minor 7th on top. So that is an A major minor 7th, also known as A7. So you don't have to worry about the major and minor in your Roman numeral analysis either. You just put 7. Okay, so with a dominant 7th chord, that's all you need, is just the Roman numeral and the 7th symbol. So with major 7th chords and minor 7th chords, you do have to identify it as major or minor. But with dominant 7th chords, it's just a 7. So there's our 5-7. We move on to the next blank. And we have C sharp, E, and an A, and an A. So A is C sharp, E. Here we go again, another A chord. This time it has the C sharp in the bass. So what inversion will that be? That's right, it's first inversion. So we have a 5 chord in first inversion, and leading nicely to the 1. We have a 5-to-1 cadence. So in this example, if we go from the inverted 5 chord to a 1 chord, that would be an imperfect authentic cadence, an IAC. But if you want to look a little closer, look at the next chord. It's still an A major, but if you notice, we have the G, which is the 7th, and Bach moves down to the A here. So you can still hear the C sharp, the A, and the E. You can hear the whole chord, but now you're hearing the 7th and the root. So I would argue that this is a 5-7-to-1. Both chords in root position. So this is an authentic cadence. The reason it's not a perfect authentic cadence is because the soprano note does not end on do. It ends on mi, do, re, mi, the F sharp, the 3rd of the chord. To be a perfect authentic cadence, it must end on do, the tonic, the root of the chord. So it's an authentic cadence. All right. And the reason this one is imperfect is because the 5 chord is in an inversion. So hopefully that helped you with this piece. And it's always good to play through it if you can. Then you can really hear the type of cadence that it is. Your ear will tell you. So I'm going to take a quick break, let you fill that out, and we will move on to number 3. So thank you. Okay. Hello again. We're back, and we're on question number 3 now. A little piece by Handel. That's very beautiful. So we are back in the same position that we were. We must find what key we're in before we analyze. So we're given a hint, and we have a key signature with 2 flats, the B flat and the E flat. With flats, there's a cool trick. If you go back 1 flat, you can find the major key that you're in. So that would be B flat major. That's one possibility. With the sharp keys, you just go up 1/2 step from the last sharp. Here's a C sharp. You go up a 1/2 step, there's a D. So D major is a possibility, which it was for that progression. So let's find out if this is in B flat major or the relative minor. You know what that is? You can look at your circle of fifths page And C, 2 flats as a B flat and also a G minor. Or you can go a minor third down from B flat and you will land on the G, or a major 6 above. So remember the other key, the other trick that we used to find out if it was in major or minor was the leading tone, right? So in the key of G minor, what is the leading tone? All you have to do is go a half step below the root. And a half step below G would be F sharp. Yes. So let's look through our progression and see if we can find any F sharps. And here we go. There's one. And another one. So I'm going to say that we are in G minor, and looking at our first chord, G, B flat, D, that confirms it. So I'll put the lowercase g now because we're in a minor key. So our Roman numerals are going to be a little different too. So here we need to provide the lead sheet, including the slash chords for the inversions. And we have to put the Roman numerals beneath it, and then we'll bracket the circle of fifth progression. So starting here on our first chord, we have a G, B flat, D, a B flat and D. These are non-chord tones, so we will put a minor one in root position. So if you want, you can also do this on the side. We'll harmonize our G minor scale just to clear up any confusion that there might be. So G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and G. So I'm going to put the F and the F sharp. So that gives us our options of using the natural minor and the harmonic minor scale. Okay, so we stack these up, build our snowmen. All right, stacking up our triads and thirds. Out of room, so we gotta add some ledger lines. And then our F sharp, A, C, and then we're here to our 1. Okay, so our first chord, let's do the lead sheet first. So we have a G minor, and we have an A, C, E flat. So the G chord in minor, A, C, E flat, the E flat makes it diminished because it has a lowered fifth, right? And a lowered third. B, D, wait, B flat, D, F. That's a B flat major triad. C, E flat, G. There's our C minor triad. D, F, A. There's our D minor triad. E flat, G, B flat. That's E flat major. And then we have F, A, C, F major. Now we have F sharp, A, C. So that would be F sharp diminished. And then we're back to our G minor. So for our Roman numeral analysis of this, minor 1, diminished 2, a major 3 chord, a minor 4 chord, a minor 5 chord, which sometimes and most commonly in classical era music, the 5 chord will be a major, so you'll have the F sharp in there. So that's something to consider. I did put that as a major chord, I think, out of habit. But with natural minor, it's just a 5 chord. E flat major, major 6. Now your 7 here is major. So we'll put a major Roman numeral. Now with the raised leading tone, the F sharp AC, we have a diminished 7 chord, and then we're back to our 1. Oops, so that's got to be a minor. Now, so here we have the leading tone. I'll put the LT there, and then the ST is for the subtonic. Okay. Oh, now we can work with this. So we have our 1 chord, G minor. Now, our next chord, E flat, G, C. So, if we take that C, move it down here temporarily, you can see that it's a C minor chord in first inversion, right? C minor with E flat in the bass. Oh, let me put my G minor here. So C minor over E flat. So if we go over here, C minor, that is our 4 chord. Oops, and let me correct that. The 4 is minor. Sorry, y'all, I hope I didn't confuse you. So a minor 4 in first inversion is the 6, right? Okay, so we have F, A, C, nicely stacked root position, F major triad. So if we go over here to our legend, we'll go over and we'll find the F major, and that is a subdominant. So here's our Roman numeral for that, the 7 major. Okay, that can be tricky. Okay, so I'm glad we went through that. Now let's check this next one out. Nicely stacked thirds here. B flat, D, F, which is a B flat major triad. And if we go over here, G, A, B flat, that's our 3 chord. And it's major. Okay, moving on. E flat, G, B flat. Nicely stacked root position, E flat major. And we go over here and we find that that is our 6th chord. So let's put that here. Now looks like we have an inversion because it's not stacked in thirds. And so if we do stack it in thirds, all we have to do is move the A down here. Now we have an A, C, and an E flat. A, C, and E flat. Well, let's go over here. A, C, E flat. That is our 2 diminished chord. So we know that it is an A diminished over C. Most commonly, diminished triads are used in first inversion, so that's pretty common to see. All right, so we will put our 2 diminished 6. Now, here we go. We have the D, F sharp, A. So we know D, F sharp, and A is a D major triad. So we go over here and we look and we find D in the position, the 5 position, in natural minor. It has the F natural, but in this case we're using the raised leading tone, and that will make this a major 5 chord. So we have to put the major symbol there. Okay. And G, G, B flat. Okay, so G and a B flat. G and a B flat is, as long as you have the root in the 3rd, that's enough to define a triad. A lot of times the 5th is omitted. Okay, so as long as you have the root and the 3rd, it's okay to omit the 5th. And so that would leave us with a G minor. And you got it. That's the 1 chord. So this is our complete progression. Now if we look at it, it goes in order 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So it wants us to bracket the circle of fifths progression. Now, if there weren't any inversions, like here or here, you would be able to see that this is a circle of fifths progression. If we just put our roots down here for a sec, right? G to C is a perfect fifth. F to B flat, perfect fifth. E flat to, here we go, we'll move it down to the A. E flat to A is a diminished fifth, but it's still a fifth nonetheless. And then D to G is also a perfect fifth. So I would say that this whole thing is a circle of fifths progression, even though there are inversions in it. So Miss San may have some other ideas on that. Always defer to her wisdom, but this is, this is how I see it. But she is the professor, so she might say the only true circle of fifths progression here is this section, because you have descending fifths there. But I think she'll agree, at least in some point, that this is a circle of fifths progression. So I hope this helped you. I hope I wasn't too confusing. I know I get into a lot of detail, but it's the details that really matter in music theory. And it helps to take the time to do these little things on the side, because you see how fast, once we got that done, look how quickly we did our analysis. All right. Okay, so thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.